Hey, it's Matt Moscona. You found it, your home for the latest content on your favorite team, the LSU Tigers. And we're powered by BetUS. Remember, this football season, earn a 125% bonus on your first 3 deposits up to $2,000. Check out BetUS in the description on this video.
This video is brought to you by BetUS Sportsbook and Casino.
Tigers are back on the practice field on Wednesday, a full pad workout on the McClendon practice facility. Brian Kelly met with reporters after practice. Again, full disclosure, I was not at practice on Wednesday. I had a morning full of meetings, so I did read some of the reports that were out there from practice. Maybe of note, things of note here. Nice full squad interception by the defense. Came off a tip pass. C.J. Daniels dropped the ball. They came up with the pick. Let's see. Mason Taylor had what looked like sounded like a great touchdown grab over Harold Perkins, who was in coverage. So all things considered, a pretty nice day of work, it would seem, and LSU continuing to prep for USC. The offense going against a scout, a defense, and vice versa. So getting looks right now from USC. Of note, Miles Frazier, your starting right guard, was in a walking boot. Tyree Adams filled in at right guard for him. Sage Ryan and West Weeks were both out as well. So as you get here to the end of camp, LSU has largely avoided the major injury. I mean, Texas has lost 2 running backs. Texas A&M lost their starting running back. I mean, up and down college football, we've seen these stories we do around the SEC every day, and you hear these stories of teams that have lost players for the season. Thankfully, LSU has avoided that major injury so far in fall camp. But after practice, Brian Kelly did give an update on 4 players that were injured. He was asked about Miles Frazier, West Weeks, Sage Ryan, West Weeks, Miles Frazier, and also gave an update on Chris Hilton. Give a listen.
Quick questions on Sage Ryan and Weeks West. How are they doing?
Pretty good. I mean, I think we've got a grade 1 hamstring. I think we've got a foot sprain. You know, these are injuries that should clear up this week and have them back full go for preparation for USC. I think we've got an ankle with Miles Frazier. Hilton's got a bone bruise, but one that, we feel like, he should be back this weekend as well. So I think 3 or 4 guys that, kind of the bumps and bruises of camp, but we feel good about their availability come this weekend.
That probably is where we just have to start with the whole conversation, is they're going to practice on Saturday in Tiger Stadium. Media was originally invited to attend that practice. We have since been kicked out. I don't blame Brian Kelly. If he's really hammering down and getting ready for SC and he doesn't want the media there, I understand. We've had tons of access, and I'm very grateful for that. But you got to get your guys back healthy. Look, as you start to see guys absent, what's interesting is who replaces whom, and that kind of tells you where guys are in the pecking order. For example, with Miles Frazier out, Tyree Adams filled in at right guard. That tells you Tyree Adams is your 6th lineman right now. So, you know who your first 5 are. And we've seen Tyree Adams largely play left tackle backing up Will Campbell. And I think he's going to be your starting left tackle next year when Will Campbell leaves for the NFL. But you could take Bo Bordelon, who's been working at the second-team right guard, and put him there. But ultimately, if the goal is get your 5 best available guys on the field, they're telling you they think Tyree Adams is right there in that number. So 71, second-year player out of St. Aug. Brian Kelly talked about him last week, said he flashes, and he does. We see him in these one-on-one drills, and he stonewalls really good players, veteran players. He'll lose reps as well, but they clearly feel Tyree Adams is their 6th best offensive lineman right now as he worked in at right guard with Miles Frazier out. With Sage Ryan out, J.K. Johnson took his place. I found that really interesting. So Sage Ryan, Ashton Stamps are your first 2, and there's been so much talk about P.J. Woodland, and with good reason. True freshman, early enrollee, played well in the spring, and has seen reps with the first team here in fall camp. I told you on Saturday in the 11-on-11 period, P.J. Woodland was getting reps with the ones and came up with an interception. The ball Nuss was trying to throw away when he was being pressured. Didn't get it far enough. Woodland made a beautiful grab, dragged his feet, and was in bounds. But J.K. Johnson clearly is the guy that has taken that spot. Told you last week we saw some nickel packages where actually Ashton Stamps came off, and it was J.K. Johnson that was in opposite Sage Ryan, who were your two cornerbacks in the nickel package. Jair Brown continues to work as the number one nickel. So some of this is sort of starting to work itself out. I also thought it was interesting that it was Devon Keys who replaced West Week. So think about it. You know who your first four are at linebacker. Blake Baker's talked about that pretty openly with Harold Perkins and Greg Penn, West Weeks, and Whit Weeks. Those are your first four. Well, Devon Keys was the next guy that replaced West Weeks in practice on Wednesday, so that's probably your next guy up should you need another linebacker. So we're just starting to get a feel for that. You know, what Brian Kelly said on Saturday when he met with reporters was, you know, everybody you see out there are guys that they're preparing to play against USC. You know, the ones in the twos and really guys that they're rotating in with the ones are all guys that in a pinch, a guy needs a blow, his chin strap breaks and you have to run somebody in there. Somebody turns an ankle, whatever the case may be. Somebody's having trouble covering, you need to go to the next guy, whatever. Well, those guys you're seeing practice right now, so you're starting to get a feel for who the guys are that on Saturdays, or in this case Sunday, against USC, you'll know who you can count on. Hey, we'll get right back to the video, but wanted to take a quick second to thank you and so many of you that have tried BetUS. They're a great partner now on AFR, LSU, all throughout football season, and it's never been easier to bet. And look at this deal right now. Go to BetUS, and you can get a 125% bonus on your first three deposits up to $2,000. Why wouldn't you take advantage of this? If you love to sports bet like I do, you got to try out BetUS. Hey, look, it's week 0. Look, you can start to bet on the Tigers in week 1. That line ticking down a little bit from 6.5 to 6 with LSU as a favorite against USC. Might even get a better price the closer we get, but it's week 0. I'll show you how easy it is. All you got to do is go to the sports book. You hit the football tab right there. There's all your NFL games on the sidebar. And then here we go. Here's the college football games. We're heading into week 1. Or week 0, excuse me. There it is, the first game of the season. Florida State, Georgia Tech. A lot of love for the Yellow Jackets. That number is coming down right now. Georgia Tech getting 10.5. Might keep watching that as we get closer to the game. But you want to make a bet on week 0? Great chance to do it. SMU against Nevada. SMU now of the ACC. You want to bet on week 0? Now's the time to do it. And you can do it at BetUS and get a 125% bonus on your first 3 deposits up to $2,000. It's at BetUS, great partner of ours here on AFR LSU. Now enjoy the video. A couple of other things here from Brian Kelly. Blake Baker really said that Harold Perkins was on fire last week when Blake Baker met with reporters. Well, Brian Kelly was asked about Harold Perkins, and give a listen to how this went.
From your point of view, how is Perkins adjusted to moving back inside?
We're having a hard time blocking him, and we've got a pretty good offensive line. I think that the best thing that I could say about a player, regardless of the position in which they play, is that he has elevated the players around him. I couldn't say that about Harold his first 2 years. He did not elevate the players around him. His play was elevated, right? At times it was outstanding. He is now entering into that category of elevating the players around him. That's a pretty good thing for Tiger fans.
That's amazing to hear, because the point that I've made about Harold Perkins last year, when a lot of people said Harold Perkins disappeared, I don't know that I necessarily agree that Harold Perkins disappeared. He had 5.5 sacks. He had 13 TFLs, identical. His number of tackles went up from 72 to 75. He had an interception. He had 6 pass breakups. He blocked a field goal. Like, Harold Perkins did a lot, but the defense stunk. I think what Brian Kelly's telling you there is Harold Perkins is doing a lot, and he's elevating everyone around him as well, so the defense will be better because of how and where he's playing. That should be music to your ears, because, listen, everyone's got Harold Perkins on their All-America list, and they should. He's a freak show. And again, he flashed last year. Harold Perkins stuffed the stat sheet. He was really good last year. The problem was it was largely muted and forgotten because the defense as a whole stunk. Well, Brian Kelly's telling you, they're all playing a lot better now. So good stuff there from Brian Kelly. One more. We'll do this really quickly. One more from Brian Kelly. Basically on now that this is the last media availability. I'm going to play number 2, please. The last media availability, because we're not going to get to see him on Saturday in Tiger Stadium. At this point, from all we've seen through 17 practices, where is this team from day one to now?
I like where we're at in terms of our mindset and how we're preparing. Guys are starting to, really put some consistent days together. Like any time during camp, we get some guys with some ankles and foot injuries, nothing serious. But it gives our other guys that are key backups an opportunity to go in there and compete. And so we get a great look at some of the other guys that are going to have to be called upon at some time during the season to step in for us.
So a lot of those guys we've talked about here over these past couple days as LSU continues to count down the opener against USC. Thanks so much for watching the video. Remember, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you're notified whenever we post a new video. And our channel is powered by BetUS. 125% bonus on your first 3 deposits, up to $2,000. All the info and the link in the description below.